So I don't know about you, but I was in a fantastic group of people. And yeah, the vulnerability space was completely present. And some of the themes which may have also come up for you are themes around the emotional space of I'm disrupted. I know it's not quote unquote right. I'm feeling unpleasant, uncomfortable. Something's off. And our ability to be able to pay attention to those signals and spend the time feeling them. Can we spend the time in them to be able to understand them so we can take the effective, the appropriate action we need to take? Instead of perhaps the running away, the avoiding, I'm just going to muscle through it. I mean, I don't know how many pickle jars I tried to muscle through until I just grabbed the knife and like knock the lid and comes off so much easier. Why am I trying to work so hard at it? Michelle, I'm going to pass the baton to my friend Rhys, and he's going to take us through our second half.
Yeah, sure. So thank you very much for that. It's great to relive that experience, open up those painful wounds, and try to hold back the tears. But what I wanted to know is, I wanted to know if there was any kind of people's reflections they wanted to share from those breakout rooms before I start. I wasn't sure if that was the protocol. If not, I'll keep going. But does anyone have anything they wanted to share other than what Teresa's little wrap up was? No? Okay.
No, I'll share. Since the question was, what are the indicators when purpose gets fuzzy or when you get out of alignment? The group that I was in had like this awesome list, self-sabotage, overthinking, start to want to control things. And the flip was, how do you know you're aligned? And I think the common thread that we all had is when you're energized, and the flow opens.
Beautiful. Thank you, Deborah. And Stephen, I think you had your hand up.
Yeah, in our room, we were, amongst other things, we were sharing those same sort of stories and those points. But we were talking about what happens when there are various aspects of our own purpose that conflict with each other. So I was using the example of wanting to ensure that 5 children are really well looked after, whilst also having to devote all time to the development of an organisation. So what happens when there's conflicts? Is it possible to flex between different aspects of core purpose?
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. That leads us nicely into my side of the story. So unless anyone else has anything else they wanted to share, I'll just jump right back into where we were. So I often am the instigator of ways and means and ideas to further our TNT brand, the podcast that we created. And yes, this was the latest iteration of that, was this event. We had done several sessions and planning and that kind of thing. And unknown to me, I thought we were going ahead. So I'm just going to play the wounded party here, and then I'll dive back into how we reconnected and got reinvigorated and then move forward with a sort of renewed purpose. So it was communication that came through via email overnight. I woke up in the morning really early. I have a 3-year-old, so often up in the night, and I know I shouldn't, but I looked at my phone and I saw a message from my BFF. I thought, oh, it's Teresa, brilliant, this will cheer me up. I read the message. I was like, oh, what's going on? So yeah, a few minutes of hours of sleeplessness followed. No, not really, but we then agreed to have a conversation. Initially, I'm human. I have these feelings. I have these emotions. I have learned through, various trainings and courses and teachings from wise people like Teresa, the art of sitting with those emotions, to learning to respond to them rather than react to them. And given that extra timing and that sort of experience, we agreed to have a chat and then talk through the feelings from both sides, because at the time it had just been communicated. And I know to Teresa eloquently described the process from her point of view, but for me in that situation, I was kind of blindsided in a way. So if we think about this in a normal relationship example, or in a work example, a team or a bigger organization, it's it's communicating those feelings. It's great to identify them. It's great to vocalize them, and also we call it emotional sort of self-awareness. So in an EQ world, being able to have that emotional literacy. So we need to first acknowledge what it is we're feeling, and then we need to communicate, and then we need to collectively sort of hash it out and be able to understand the multiple perspectives that are on show here, and being able to step back from whatever initial response might have been, and be able to see that actually maybe we've both gone a little bit out of line with our purpose. Maybe we've both gone a little bit astray from what the real purpose of an event was, and we had maybe sacrificed some of the some of our values to go after a topic, entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. We chose something that we thought would be popular, that would sell tickets, that would be more interesting, whereas this is all stuff we had in our reflection conversation afterwards. We were able to look back and go, actually, we were both kind of a bit carried away down the stream with this idea. And it was, for me, initially, the first response was, oh no, this is terrible. Oh, okay, I can accept this. Oh, actually, maybe I can see this as a benefit. Maybe I can be grateful for this. And actually, maybe it was just a show of grace that I needed this reminder that actually we were both being taken onto paths that were away from our true purpose. And I think it is in that delivery of those true feelings, in the acceptance of them, in the understanding of the multiple perspectives, and by using things like emotional intelligence skills, mindfulness, and self-awareness, we were able to come back together. Because you kind of left at a point where do we go from here? Do we continue? Do we stop? Do we have a break? And these are all things that relate to any kind of relationship. And I think that sort of question, that idea, is what we really wanted to kind of share with you, prompt you for the next breakout room. So to give you an idea of where you have felt that you haven't been heard, or you found difficulty to voice your feelings in the situation, and then how you, either as the leader or as one of the team, were able to hold space for everybody, and also create the right environment where everyone's voice is heard, where everyone gets a chance to share what their individual purpose is, and then collectively try and tie it back to that original purpose anchor that, you know, affords you all to be blown around a bit in the wind whenever things come at you, but it still keeps you locked into that space, and it's a bridge that you can climb back down on and then start reconstructing something new together. So the upshot was we have now doubled down on our podcast and focusing on that, and allowing us to pursue other individual goals while still remaining true to that original collective purpose of producing content and interviewing inspiring people, so that we can get people to think better, to do better, and to be better, kind of thing. So that was our raison d'etre for beginning, and that was where we came back to. So it was a full circle process. There were bumps obviously in the way, but it was necessary for those bumps to actually come back to a better foundation. So I wanted to invite you all to have that kind of discussion of how you've dealt with that in your situation, or how you've had that thrust upon you, whichever side you would like to play from.
Cool. So we're going to open up the rooms again. We're going to be in the same rooms. We had a few people who've joined us sort of partway through, so we'll allocate you to rooms. So we're going to open the rooms now. We're on 1:40 or 40 minutes past the hour, depending where you are in the world. So I think maybe 12 minutes for this discussion. So we look forward to seeing you back in 12 minutes time.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much, Alberto. I hope you all had a productive breakout room. We invite anyone to share anything in the chat box there. But if there's someone who would like to vocalize what it was, something that came up, a thought, an aha moment, anything you would like to share from that breakout room.
Who's feeling brave?
I've not got anything necessarily to share, sorry Marie, but I just wanted to say sorry because our timer ran out. I think I talked too much and then Nicola was telling quite a personal situation and our timer ran out. So apologies, Nicola.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I just want to say thank you. I just had a wonderful time that being able to be open and vulnerable, and yet this is just a great time that, you know, to hear others as well as share and be able to be transparent and open about the struggles or whatever, and yet to get a grip of it, you know, just get a grip of it, to live everyday life, to be able, you know, to have purpose. So thank you for this session.
Thank you, Yolanda.
Thank you, Yolanda. Yeah, exactly. This importance of community at this time is more relevant than ever before, and you know, great groups like the Purpose Collective. I've been a guest, now I've been a co-host. So yeah, always a lot of fun, always a lot to learn, and always a good group of people with lots of different insights to share. Tim, you wanted to share something?
Sorry, I've muted myself again. I was just going to say that, like we've spoken about, I think it has a lot to do with empathy and environment. It's getting people to be heard, you know, like the environment to get everybody to be equal and inclusive, right? Like get everybody, no matter what beliefs, to be, give them a safe space to be heard, the permission to share beliefs and opinions and stuff like that, and then using empathy strategically to seek to really understand what the problem is, not just the symptom, right? Getting, like, knowledge and information and communication is all over the place, but understanding really changes the situation, and you've got to use those two things. But that's what I thought.
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. It's definitely one of the foundations that we found it's integral to the work that Teresa does with emotional intelligence. And yeah, and I think the one thing that relates to that is trust. And I think that's the thing that is what stood the test of any kind of issues between us. It's been 18 months, and we should say we never actually met. We never, you know, been in the same country even. We just met like this virtual, and yet we were able to create this bond. So, you know, all of this is possible, and you know, having that anchor of purpose is really helped us, and also having that trust as well. Kev, you got your hand up. What would you like to share?
So I'll try and keep my story brief, but the comments, I think that I sort of took from that conversation is that purpose finds its way. I was before beginning of, when was it, 2020? I came back from a sabbatical, realizing what we needed at work was more love and connection, not how to come up with better systems and solutions. And I started sharing this like a crazy person, because it felt like that those things we described in the first round felt like things that needed to be said. 3 months in, I built up the courage to pitch it to a partner who I thought was a heartfelt partner who would buy into this. She'd go, yes, of course we do, Kevin, go and do a project on this. And she said, no, thank you, we need to make more money and this won't do that. And so I went back to doing some design work. And 2 weeks later, COVID hits. And she says, sorry, I'll just turn my alarm off. She says, Kevin, you know that love and connection thing you were pitching, I think we actually need that now. Because we've got teams all over the place and we don't know how to support them. And so we end up training up 31 coaches across Europe and bringing well-being and the conversations that really mattered into the organization. As that purpose found its way through into something that made a difference.
Here. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else have something they would like to share? I know there's been a lot of stuff in the chat. Thank you so much for that. I know we're running out of time here. I don't know what the protocol is for wrapping things up. I know Sarah has something to share. Does anyone else have a reflection before I hand the mic back over to those in charge?
Can I say one thing then?
Please.
And it was on behalf of you, Teresa, this idea of the 80-20 and the 20 that was blocked, and the fact that opening that 20 by opening yourself was super interesting. And I think with the group I was in, with a group of 3, and then we became a group of 4, and how quickly in the Purpose Collective people open up. That's the beauty of this group. And I think it's just really, it's truly a blessing. So it's a great energy boost, as I always say, for, you know, every hour that we spend together. So I really appreciate it.
And excuse me, I want to say something. Thank you so much for making it so comfortable where people feel like they could just open up. So that's important.
Oh, thank you.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Rhys. Thank you, Teresa, for sharing with us your story, your insights, your wisdom about the bumps along the way on the purpose path. And I'm really taking away your encouragement to notice those signals when things feel off, and to take the time to sit with difficult feelings and have the courage to then have an honest conversation about them. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm going to do a very quick shout out about future events. So the next one of these sessions is in 2 weeks' time on the 3rd of June with Kevin Brown, looking at how we build on the purpose spark we feel inside. He's asking the question, is it a eureka moment? Is it more of a slow burn? So that's in a couple of weeks. And after that, on the 17th of June, we've got our very own Alberto leading a session also around personal purpose. If you've got any questions or anything you'd like us to include, please feel free to send us a note. We'd love to hear from you. Finally, we've got 2 masterclasses coming up on creating high-performing teams through purpose. They're on the 18th of June and the 30th of September. They're half-day sessions. Chris, Alberto and I would love to see you there. So take care, go well, and we hope to see you in a couple of weeks' time. All the best. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.